Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be working in my nature journal. This is something I've been trying to do more and more. I've been enjoying going for walks in the morning and getting outside, and then I try to come home and draw something that I've seen. So this morning when I went outside, I heard a large commotion of birds. They were just going bonkers in the woods behind my house. When I looked back there, I saw it was a migrating flock of English starlings. So I decided to draw one of them in my nature journal for today. And I'm just doing a loose sketch. I always try to sketch with pen, so that way if I make a mistake, I just have to go with it. I can't keep erasing and fine-tuning everything, because that's kind of not the point of working in my journal. I really just want it to be fun and feel more free. I don't want to feel like everything has to be perfect, and I just want it to be more of a go with the flow kind of thing. So I'm just adding some details now, putting in some feathers, and sketching the little feet with the little claws now. I like to use some sort of a pigment liner. This one is a Staedtler 0.5 pigment liner, and I like these just because they are waterproof, and I like to add in some paint later. Sometimes I'll just work with colored pencil, it depends, but lately I've been enjoying using watercolor and then sort of putting in some details with pencil after. And you can choose how many details you would like to put in with your pen. I like to have texture and details. I like kind of a cartoony illustration look, but if you prefer a more natural or realistic look, you may not want to have so many ink lines on your drawing here. So you do whatever look you prefer, and it's all good. Whatever you pick is perfect. And now I'm just adding in some words to go with my drawing. And then at the bottom, I added a little drawing with just some migrating starlings, very basic design, some treetops, very simple. And to make this very light black, more of a gray color, I just mixed my darkest brown and darkest blue that was in my watercolor palette. That just gives the color a little more depth than if you only used black. And this is the Koi watercolor Pocket Field Sketch Box watercolor set that I am using. I do like this one. It's a great size. It has an excellent selection of colors, and you can even pack it along on one of your nature walks. And then I'm just adding in what I see in some pictures that I had taken. So I see there's some green, shiny feathers. There's even some purple, and there's also some brown. So I'm just going in and trying to make it have a little more of a greenish tinge, because it's definitely not just straight black. These guys have quite a few colors in there and spots and all kinds of fun things to paint. Now, one thing about these birds is that they are not native to where I live here in the United States. They were brought overseas from England by a gentleman who wanted to bring over all of the birds who are mentioned in the works of William Shakespeare. So now we have a starling problem here, because they are thriving and they're doing so well that it's actually problematic for some of our native birds, like the bluebird. But anyway, we don't want to be too Debbie Downer here. We just want to give the facts, and then let's get back to painting our English starling friend. Now I'm just going to add in some more watercolor, just trying to make things a little bit darker and stand out a little bit more. I felt like some of it was a little bit washed out, so I just thought I'd dab some more paint in there and just see if I could get a little more blending, a little more color, a little more variation, kind of make the black stand out a little bit more, make the green stand out a little bit more. Sometimes it's nice to have the lighter colors, but this time I did want to kind of showcase some of the bright colors you can see shining on their feathers when they're moving around and flying, or even just on the ground. You can still see those shiny, shiny wings. So here's some brown. I'm adding in some brown because I felt like that got a little bit lost. So I'm just dabbing in a little bit more to try to get that to stand out. And I kind of liked when I dabbed it, I felt like it almost looked like little feathers too when it left the little darker paint dots behind. And then their feet are this, they're this orange color. So I'm just lightly putting that in. And then their beak is actually a bright yellow. So I'm adding that in next. And there we go. And now I am painting the bottom. I didn't quite move the journal up enough to capture that though, but I just added some color to the bottom there that needed it. And I forgot to date the top, so I'm adding that in now. And that's fine. I just wanted to have it in there so I can remember when I saw these. And now I'll just write the name, Common or English Starling, plus the Latin name. You can see the bottom now where I did a little bit of painting, just the sky and stuff. And then I'm just darkening up those toes a little bit, trying to get a little bit of a shadow on the bottom and on the back of the leg. And then I'm just noticing that the trees were just ink, and I just felt like I wanted to give them a little more thickness with just a little bit of watercolor. And now is one of my favorite parts, which is when I go in with my white pen. And my pen I'm using is a Uniball Signo pen, a white pen. And it's just so fun to use this and put details on a painting after you're done with the paint and it's dry, of course. If you put it on too soon, then the white will just kind of fade and bleed into the paper and you won't get that standout effect. But once the paint is dry and you apply the white to it, it's really pretty. It's really, I love it for putting in the little details or outlining. And Starlings do have a lot of white dots, so I'm adding the dots. I'm trying to add some lines here for the feathers to give those some detail. And then for the last touch, which I probably should have done before I added the white pen, but that's okay. I'm going to add some more color using my colored pencils just to make those greens a little more green, punch it up a little bit. I realized I don't think I added purple watercolor paint, and they do have a purple shine, so I'm adding that in now as well. And just trying to showcase those colors. Get some brown in there. The brown's a little faded. And then just add a little more to the legs, a little shadow, and our little friend is done. Oh, that's a graphic my son added. Make it a little more fancy, you know? But all right, well, have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.